So we have to take a decision on this merging of the corridors using the proper tapering. So it's clear that we can give a polyline here. Is one way of doing. So for applying the tapering properly, so we can do like this. So we can create a polyline and we can define the length. What is the rate of change of tapering, and we can connect this line like this. So we had created two lines, two polylines. So now what we will be doing is we are targeting our road in order to follow this polyline until it get merges with this. So you can see now the actual corridor that we had applied is in this manner. So now this corridor will be following this polylines. So for that we have to click on this corridor, go to the corridor properties. Here we can assign in the targets. So with the target, can select this from the drawing. So this is for the right. So this is the right one. Select the right one. Apply OK. And similarly for the width target, we are selecting from the drawing. Left one. OK. So you can see how the taper has been applied from this point to. So at this scenario for applying the tapering, it has been followed by these two lines. You can see it clearly. Now you can see fill lines are also has been clearly formed. Earthwork lines. You see earthwork lines are also clearly formed. So in this fashion, we can define the tapering length as per our requirements, and we can give it as a target parameters in the corridor. So that will be applied to the corridor. So for our trial purpose, now I want to remove this complete breaking of the corridor and the same chainage to the end. I want to utilize it. So I don't need these additional things. I can even remove this region if I don't want. And these target parameters what I had given. So if I remove this target parameters, it will be applicable as per the TCS that was given. So now there are no targets available, so it will be applicable as normal thing, cut fills. So once the corridor is prepared, so I have to create it as a surface. So by making it as a surface, we will be dividing it into the sample lines. So the sample lines are the lines for which, that is the interval for which the earthworks will be calculated. So if we don't provide the sample and ranges, so it will be default taking the values for every 10 meters, as we had mentioned in while creating the corridor. To run the corridor as a 10 meter, the same default value will be applicable. So for creating the sample lines, first we have to create the corridor surfacing. So this is the corridor surface. So here we have to add our corridor, created corridor. So now I want to check whether it is a top lines, bottom lines. So our work is a corridor. Now we are creating the sample lines for generating the earthwork. So which, for which, because of which we will be needing the bottom related details apart from our road data. So we need the earthwork which are below the road surfaces and our component surfaces or assembly component surface. So I'll be selecting the bottom lines. So here I have to create, check the datum. So our datum is the minimum height elevation that we had applied here, that will be datum, it will be considering as, and going to the boundaries. So around the corridor that we had created, a boundary line will be formed. So I will show you here. So the boundary line will be formed, just clicking the rebuild. So this is the corridor, whereas the boundary line will be formed around the corridor up to this line. This around the corridor, the boundary line will be formed. For some reason I am not able to select. So once the corridor surface is created, you can see there will be a gap formed here in this prospector tab, and another surface also will be created here, major road corridor. So now the surface, which will be the triangulation for the corridor that we had created on the proposed alignment, will be formed as a surface here. This is a existing surface which is triangulation, this is corridor surface. So similarly for the minor road also we can prepare the surface. So you can see the gap formed here. Similarly surface also created for the this line. So once the lines are created, now I have to click on this corridor. There will be generating a corridor minor road corridor tab will be open. So in this I have to create the sample lines. For sample lines I have to select the alignment. So alignment is on the back side. So now I am sending the corridor to the back side. Create sample lines, select the alignment. For this alignment, so in this we have to select the triangulation, our surface model as well as the road models. So these two are our minor roads. So I'm selecting for the minor roads. So only select the roads, minor road related corridors and surfaces as well as the our existing surface. So clicking on OK. Now I have to define the buffer length. So this can be done from here. So our buffer length I can take it as 25 default. You can make it 40, 50, 100 also. So but 25 what they had given is enough, or you can make it 30, no problem. So up to 30 meters on the both either side, the cross sections will be created. So you can see the sample lines that are generated for 30 meters on either side. So these sample lines are created. So by selecting a sample line, you can see the tab here in the sample line, compute material. So this is for calculating the earthwork quantity. So by selecting the compute material, till last select the alignment and sample line collection group, which you can make it default and you can leave it. So here we have to find out the earthwork quantities. So it will be asking what is the existing ground, it is triangulation model. Datum is our finished road surface, which we had made the surface using the corridor. So by using the average end area method, we are calculating this. Just by clicking on the OK, selecting the OK. Now the quantities has been calculated. So now we can generate the volume report for the quantities of this minor road. So select the minor road. So you can find out the cut and fill quantities over here. Just Control A, copying all the data. You can paste everything in the Excel directly. So this is the fill area and fill volume. This is the cut volume. So this is the total cut volume and fill volume you are getting. So this is cut area, volume, and these are cumulative cut and fill volumes, and reusable volumes also it has been given. These are the reusable volumes, which is same as the cumulative volume, whatever it is. So it will be considering all the volume as a volume that we are getting from the cutting as a reusable volume only. So similarly for the major road also we can create the cut fill sections. These are the earthworks that are generated without applying the superelevation. There will be slight variation in our quantities if we apply the superelevation. So later I will be showing you this, how to apply the superelevation. Once the superelevation is applied, the same concept of creating the sample lines and calculating the material and getting the report also, it will be of the same pattern. Similar thing has to be applied. So now each and every cut section we can view the cut section, cross sectional view. So here you can click on create sectional view, and then any empty space if you are selecting. So here you can see the cut and fill portions. So this is the cut and fill portion. This is our earthwork line, our existing surface, and this surface selected is, so this is how the gradient TCS that we had applied. As per the TCS applied, it will be showing all these parties into the cutting. This will be into the cutting portion. So similarly for the wherever the sample lines are generated, we can create a number of cross sections as per our requirement. So there is a task for generating the corridor surface, sample line, earthwork, and creating the cross sections. Even assembly creation is also completed. subassembly composer. So here we have to in the while installing the Civil 3D, so we will be getting a subassembly composer directly as a tool. Here, using these items, points, links, shapes, we can create our own items, assembly, subassembly components. Just click on the start. So get a point and the another one. So you are linking this. You can even shape it. So you can create a point first here. So you can assign some point code here. So you can make it as an origin point. And what are the details that we are going to do, whether it should be offset from the center of the assembly or away from the assembly. So same way we are giving another point also here, P1 and L1. So for this P2, so whether it is connecting to the origin point or some other point and how far it is from, I can make this as 50. So you can see this, a line has been created by linking the 2 points. Similarly, another point also we can create. So this is the link and this is the point. So we can even connect this point to P1 directly, or we can make it as a, so P1. So this will be from the P1. This one will be, so with the y offset distance of 20. So you can see here another one has been created, P1, P2, P3. So I'm linking this last two with the P2 and P4. So this is how you can create a subassembly component. So it's a simple basic subassembly component. So now you can save this subassembly component. Just save. You can make it as a PKT file. So I'm just saving at some location. Subassembly 1, saving. So here in this, you can click on the right click on this tool palette, new palette. So in this we can add the new palettes, import subassemblies, components. We can open the source file. So we had saved it in the, so subassembly that we had created has been imported. So wherever we have to use this subassembly, we can assign that. We can directly drag it and we can use it as one subassembly component. You can see the box we had created has been linked. So this is a subassembly component. So in the similar way, we can create any shapes or files or whatever we want and can be applied. So whenever you make the changes in the subassembly or any other components, the corridor should be rebuilded automatic just to make it enable rebuild automatic. When your data is huge, please don't make this as a automatic thing. We can even rename all the location wherever all the profile views, profile view properties. When we can change the alignment name, triangulation name at any point of time as per our requirement. They will be automatically adjusted in the prospector tab. So this is how we'll be creating the subassembly components and we'll be applying as per our requirement to the assembly. So this completes the chapter number 9. So next it will be junction design and site grading super relations. So junction design, it's one of the major topic that we have to be covering.